Good morning. We are now live in the Late Life Lesbian Community. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Allie. Welcome. How are you guys doing today? You guys should have access to chat. Now, doing this live, I wanted to kind of address the upcoming holidays and just how people may be feeling and where you may be at on your specific journey, and if there's any fears or worries or concerns related to all of that. And yeah, so if you guys have questions or concerns or just thoughts at all around, the upcoming holidays, leave them in the chat. I'm going to kind of go through just some various stages where people might be kind of anywhere on this journey. And then I'll kind of go over some strategies that may be helpful as you go into the holiday season. But yeah, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, leave them in the chat. And then kind of at the end, I'll address them, or if, I can address them as I'm going, I will do that too. Excuse me. Sorry. It is still morning here and just starting to talk for the first time today. But yeah, so if you're on this journey, you might be at this stage where you're still holding this inside and maybe your family doesn't know. And this is, hang on, what did this say? Oh, no, there we go. All right. So yeah, holding this inside, maybe family, maybe friends don't know. And this is still just all something that is, all on you, and that can offer a lot of inner turmoil. I've spoken to some women recently who are coming up to the holidays, and the fears and the worries and the guilt and everything gets triggered because they are looking at their families and being really afraid that by going through this journey and process, that if they come out and if they tell them, they're going to ruin, the family that they have. And so that can trigger a lot of that guilt and fear and shame. Am I making the right choice? Am I doing the right thing for me? Is doing the right thing for me selfish because it may hurt those that I love? So that aspect of the holidays can be very triggering. We'll kind of talk about some ways to process through that in a minute. Some of you also might be going into the holidays after, maybe you're still in a relationship with a male partner and you're out to your male partner, but you're still in this kind of messy middle stage. Where do I go from here? What do I do? How do we handle this? Is this, our last holiday season together? How is that going to go? So that too can also offer a lot of, inner turmoil that can be triggering, going into this and looking at it as, is this going to be our last, last Christmas or holiday that we're spending as a family, because now I'm out to my husband and we're making those next steps, and what do we do and what's next year going to look like? So, that can also be kind of triggering and bring up some emotions during this time. Now, the other aspect is that, you may be out, but, to some people, but maybe you're closeted to your family. And that's kind of along the first lines, holding this inside. You might be on the journey where you're holding it all inside. Nobody knows. You might be out to some people, but maybe just not out to your family. So you're still kind of in this limbo stage, which can make this, a challenging period of time. And then, for some of you too, you might be through all of this. You might be separated from your husband, and maybe you are now bringing a new partner around, but this is all new and it's all different. And, I went through that when I started dating and would have, partners that I was bringing around family. And that can be exciting, but also scary because, especially if you were with a man and family was very used to, your male partner being around, now introducing a woman can be kind of scary with all of that. And, sorry, I just finally found the chat. I was on the wrong tab. So I see that you guys, made some comments. So I'll read those in a second. But anyways, so yeah, if you are bringing potentially a female partner around, and that just might be, thrilling, but scary and unsure of how it's going to go. And so there could be some emotions there. And, and if anybody watches this or is here who is celebrating the holidays while out and proud and with a steady partner, they're good for you, because you have made it through this journey and you are really on the other side of it all, living as your authentic self, and thankfully that's where my wife and I are at this stage. We've already gone through a few holiday seasons where we've been together and we're starting to establish a routine. And truly, I think anybody on this journey, that is hopefully the end goal, is to get to a place where this is a happy, comfortable time that you do get to share with family. So let me go through and read some of these. Yeah, how to handle homophobic comments. Oh my gosh, Allie, yeah, congratulations. It is very painful. So I don't know, in the recordings, like for people that watch back, I don't know if you can read these. So Allie, I'm going to share this because I think this is important to talk about. She shares that her divorce was just finalized about 30 minutes ago, and it was more painful than I was expecting. Definitely bringing some bittersweet feelings into this holiday. Happy I can start 2024 as my authentic self, but really sad to realize that our last Christmas was our last one we shared together. Yeah, it definitely hits you, when you get the notification that your divorce is final. As good of a place that I was in with my, I might cry. Dang, I do need to start a period. I feel a little emotional, but yeah, this stuff is emotional. But yeah, going through that, and once you finally get that confirmation that you're officially divorced, it hits you. Like, it really, Sarah, I know you're in here, I know you went through this too. As soon as you got that, it hit you hard too. And it does, it's a very bittersweet, it's like this gratitude of recognizing that, like, you can fully be your authentic self, but it's that kind of like final, wow, like this is really over, like this chapter of my life is over. And it is triggering. So that's actually one of the things I was going to discuss. Yeah. That was one of the things I was going to discuss with even the holiday season, because my first holiday season separated and divorced, so our divorce was final in July, so then we got into December, Christmas time. And, and we had a good relationship, we have a son together. And I just thought, okay, this is great. Like, we still spent Christmas together, and I thought it was gonna be good. My best friend was actually in town at that time and was with us, and we all hung out, we opened presents with my son, we had breakfast together. And I left with my best friend, we went back to my house, and I just like lost it. It was just one of those, like, oh my goodness, like this was like our first Christmas apart, and as like a divorced couple. And while it all went amazingly well, it just kind of like triggered that grief button. And, it was just kind of this sadness and like still this like grief and sort of mourning the fact that things were just different now. So that is something to kind of prepare for wherever you are on this journey, that there can be some triggering moments going through this that, maybe you're not even expecting to happen or thinking will happen. And it might just hit you. And that's okay. That's part of this journey. It's part of this process. And there is a lot of grieving that goes into this. And, just that might happen. So anyways, all right, let's go into, I was kind of reading, navigating homophobic comments. Let's see. Sarah also says her and her ex-husband would be celebrating their 19th wedding anniversary on January 1st. So it's more New Year's that will be hard for me, more so than Christmas. Yeah, and that's really understandable. There's a lot of moments and memories just around between Christmas, New Year's, all of this that can be triggering, and it probably will be one of those hard processes. So some things that you can do to kind of like be aware and prepare yourself emotionally. If you are on this journey of thinking that this might be your last Christmas together and that next year, 2024 might look completely different, something that you can do is just practice, mindfulness, being present in the moment, appreciating the moment, this last sort of sense of maybe somewhat normalcy before things potentially really change. Enjoying the time. And that's just something great to practice all the time, regardless, like just enjoying what you're getting to experience in the moment, because we never know what tomorrow may bring, or next week, or a year from now. Life could be different in so many ways, and not just even due to our sexuality. So finding a way to be present and be thankful for what is going on right in front of you, and just that mindfulness, being aware of that and intentional with it, can, create a lot of gratitude and happiness and peace, even in what might be an emotionally challenging time. So the other thing you can do kind of along those lines is practice that gratitude, be thankful for where you are currently. We are all on a journey, and I think every single stage and step of this journey serves a purpose to get us to our end goal, and that end destination of where we're supposed to be. I don't know if there ever is truly an end, because I think life and just all of this is always a journey. And once you get through this, aspect of life, then something else seems to come along. But I think that every stage takes us where we need to go next, and there's always a lesson to be learned and always growth that can happen. And so being thankful that even in the hard times, even in the challenging times, that this is all part of life's journey. And even my Christmas that was really difficult, I still had so much to be thankful for, so much to be thankful that, like, my ex-husband and I were able to be together and celebrate Christmas with our son, that we have a good enough relationship that we can do that, that my son had a great Christmas and he was happy, so, and then even with my best friend being in town, that, like, she was part of that with me, all of that was so much to be grateful for, and I definitely took that time to appreciate that, even in, like, the sadness that I felt, that it was all different. But finding ways to be thankful definitely helps make it easier. The other thing too, it's a busy time of year and there are a lot of emotions and a lot going on. Find ways to still take time for yourself. Do something for you. Sarah, this might be a good one for you. Kind of with the homophobic comments, taking time for yourself is kind of paired with boundaries, having some good boundaries around this time of year. I know that we have a lot of pressure and expectation to show up and be present for family get-togethers and things like that. But, maybe you need to limit your time there. Maybe staying the entire time or hours on end is just too much. And it is okay to say, hey, I'm stopping by for a little bit to say hello, but I need to go, or I have, something else I need to do. And it is okay to prioritize yourself, to set those boundaries, and do what is right for you, or that kind of pairs with taking time for yourself. Do you need some space for yourself to kind of process and decompress some of these holiday get-togethers? All of this is okay. It's been huge for me. And I don't know about you all, but, I've always kind of raised in the way that you're there for family and you show up and you make yourself seen and present. And the older that I've gotten, the more I've gone through this, the more I have recognized, like, if this isn't the right thing for me, or I don't have the mental and emotional or even physical capacity on a certain day to be there, I am much more okay saying, what, I love you all, you're great, but I just can't make it today. And I think that being able to recognize those things in yourself is very important. A lot of people will make you try to feel guilty for that, or, maybe say that you're selfish and, you're just thinking of yourself. But again, it is okay to set those boundaries and do what you need to do for yourself to take care of you. So that might be something to keep in mind as you're going through all of this. Self-care, protecting your energy. Yeah. Intuition is key. Listening to your body, how you feel in spaces, honor those feelings, even if that means excusing yourself. Absolutely. I don't think that anybody should be expected to stay in a space where they don't feel good, and I know that's hard because I think that triggers a lot of inner turmoil, like the guilt of what's my family going to think of me if I just excuse myself and I need to leave. But then if you stay in an environment where you don't feel safe and you don't feel comfortable and you don't feel like you can be you, then, that's also not good either. And while it's hard, choosing yourself is part of this journey and is necessary to like protect your energy and protect how you feel. So that is an okay thing to do if you need to. We kind of talked about this, but just being prepared that you might be triggered over this holiday season. I've had multiple instances since getting divorced and going through all of this that I was triggered like unexpectedly. And it caught me off guard. And just like Allie shared with, finding out her divorce was final and it hitting her harder, it's those moments that you get triggered that you may not even be expecting it. And so going into this holiday season, you might have the mindset like, oh, this will be great. It's like any other holiday, like no big deal. But just keep in the back of your mind that while you're on this journey, there might be things that happen that trigger you, and kind of thinking, where is a safe space? Will there be somebody there I feel comfortable like talking to or sharing with? Is this a situation where I may need to excuse myself? And just kind of like making a little mental, emotional like plan for yourself to like protect, your needs and what you need in this situation. So just something to kind of keep in mind. Sarah said, I suppose I did that Thanksgiving when I left the table to go to the bathroom. Yeah. And then outside during the homophobic rant. Yes. I think that even asking yourself, was that enough? Was that enough space? Was that enough distance? Did you feel okay coming back after that? Maybe in preparation for Christmas, is that something that you're going to be potentially okay with? And is that okay, like handling it that same way, or do you need to do something different? Yeah. And the last one was just that the setting boundaries, it kind of goes all into this, just setting boundaries for what you need. Being okay, like pushing those boundaries, even when you're talking to people, like if somebody brings something up and you're just like, hey, you know what, like, I don't particularly want to talk about that this Christmas, or holiday, whatever you're celebrating this holiday season. And, redirecting the conversation to something new, just because somebody asks you something, I know that there might be some of you who are in the situation where you're getting divorced and maybe family knows that you're getting divorced, but maybe they don't know the full extent of it. Maybe you're still closeted with your sexuality and people are questioning you and asking, well, what's going on or what happened? It is okay to say, you know what, hey, this is the holidays. I want to enjoy my time. I don't want to get into all of that right now, and to set that boundary. And if somebody pushes, then again, it's okay to separate yourself, to potentially leave if you need to leave. But it is okay to tell people no, essentially. Sarah, you talked about like, dealing with homophobic comments. I think kind of just going back over like the boundaries, making a plan for yourself, kind of mentally, emotionally, how do you plan to handle that should things like that come up again? I don't know for you if like you could even set a boundary with your family, like, hey, why do we really need to talk about this? It's the holidays. Can we, just focus on our family and being together? I don't know. I don't know if that's an option for you to say something like that, or if it would feel comfortable for you to say that. But I think that kind of thinking through some of those things and planning out what makes you feel good would, be helpful. But yeah, having an out for yourself and taking some time for yourself. Jen says he's asked that we don't tell family of our separation, do things as normal after the holidays, but I am not in agreement. I'm all about honesty and transparency. So that's my current battle. That is a hard one because it's like two competing things. It's almost like you're both of your needs, it's almost like he's expressing his need of wanting to wait until after the holidays, but your need is also, being honest and transparent. That's a hard one, because if you don't respect sort of what he's asked, that's difficult. But I don't know, I think that that's something to kind of navigate and think through. because I also don't feel like it's fair for someone to ask you to live a lie. You know, like you have to make the choices that's right for you, you know. Maybe you can come to a compromise, you know, rather than just going out and publicly telling everybody, you know, hey, this is what's happening, this is where we're at. Maybe if somebody asks or it's brought up or somebody catches on to the fact that like maybe things don't seem actually normal between the two of you. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you that it's a beautiful lesson to speak this truth despite the discomfort. Hi, that's my wife. Sorry. No, she was in here. She's supposed to be at work. But anyways, sorry, now I got distracted. No, I'm saying, but yeah, if somebody comes up to you and, you know, maybe asks or questions if things are off, you know, then maybe you just say, look, listen, if somebody asks me, I will not lie. You know, maybe you could make the agreement, like, I'm not going to just go run and share this with everybody right now. I'll respect that request until, you know, after the holidays, but I do want to share my truth. But if somebody asks me or questions or feels that we're off, just say, I'm not going to, you know, have any, like, I'm not going to lie to them. I'm not going to just tell them everything's okay when it's not. So, you know, maybe that is a compromise to make in this situation where you're somewhat respecting his needs, but you know, you are also able to be honest if somebody comes to you, because that's how I feel about a lot of it. Like I can I can respect somebody's needs, but I will not ever put myself in a situation where I need to lie for somebody. Like I'm not okay with that. So I might say, listen, you know what, I'm okay, you know, not saying something, but if I'm questioned, I will tell the truth. So, you know, maybe that will be helpful. All right. I think that's kind of overall, that's the two fingers. The two finger salute, the lesbian salute. Yes. The talk went in a different direction here. Does anybody else have any questions or any concerns or thoughts with where they're at? You're welcome, Jennifer. Yeah. I'll give you guys a second. But yeah, I was trying to think. I thought I had something else, but maybe not. That's okay. We have to have fun in here too. You censored yourself as well, you guys. Michelle, you're supposed to be working. You must be in a not very entertaining lesson to be in here. It's nice to see you, though. Going back to my notes real fast, just make sure I kind of covered everything. But, you know, the other great thing, too, is that you guys do have this community. So if anything comes up and it becomes difficult or becomes challenging, you know, make a post. You know, there's others here that I'm sure are feeling what you're feeling and going through what you're going through. And that's what this is for, is to have connection with others, to know that what you're going through, you're not the only one experiencing it. And, you know, I think that that's a beautiful thing when we can all kind of come together and support each other through what we are going through. So if there are no more questions, I will end this for today, but always good to connect with you all. And to my wifey, I will see you for lunch in a little while. But all right, y'all. Yeah, if you need anything, have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the community and I will connect with you there. All right, have a great day. Have a happy holiday. And then we'll be doing another one of these next month. I am not totally sure of the topic yet, but hopefully I will see you all then. All right, bye.